Recording is on?
Yes, we're gonna.
Very much once you see that action, makes you very.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Education Business Meeting. Today is Tuesday, May 16th. Time is now 7:06. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next is a spotlight, and first of all, I forgot to mention the members that are here this evening. I have Mary Ellen Flaherty Ludwig, Vice Chair Godfrey Azima, Secretary Sherry McCready Pritchett, and online I have Erica DePalma. Spotlight is next, and I will hand over the meeting to Sherry.
We have two spotlights tonight. The first one is National Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. The Norwalk Board of Education is proud to recognize May as National Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. National AAPI Month is a time to celebrate and recognize the unique experiences, traditions, and cultures of the fastest growing racial groups in the United States. Asian and Pacific Islander encompasses all people from the Asian continent, as well as the Pacific Islands of Melanesia, New Guinea, New Caledonia, Vanuatu, Fiji, and the Solomon Islands, Micronesia, Marianas, Guam, Wake Island, Palau, Marshall Islands, Kiribati, Nauru, and the Federated States of Micronesia and Polynesia, New Zealand, Hawaiian Islands, Rotuma, Midway Islands, Samoa, American Samoa, Tonga, Tuvalu, Cook Islands, French Polynesia, and Easter Island. The celebration of Asian Pacific Americans' heritage began as a week-long celebration in the late 70s. Since 1992, Congress has authorized an annual presidential proclamation that designates May as Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. In 2021, President Joe Biden expanded the name to include Native Hawaiians in a broader effort to create a more inclusive celebration, directly recognizing the distinct history and contributions of Native Hawaiians as part of the United States. The month of May was chosen to commemorate the immigration of the first Japanese to immigrate to the United States on May 7, 1843. It also marks the anniversary of the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad on May 10, 1869. The majority of the workers who laid the tracks were Chinese immigrants. According to the Status, which is Social Tracking of Asian Americans in the U.S., Index Report 2022, Asian Americans are the least likely to feel like they belong in the U.S. With that in mind, the Norwalk Board of Education feels it's more important than ever to let our Asian, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander students know that they are safe, they are seen, and they are appreciated. By declaring the National Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, the Board of Education encourages everyone to learn about these diverse communities that have enriched this country for generations, from STEM and human rights to art and cuisine, and are critical to our future success. The next spotlight is Mental Health Awareness Month 2023. The Norwalk Board of Education is proud to recognize May as Mental Health Awareness Month and restate our commitment to raising awareness and providing support around mental health. We celebrate the great strides Norwalk Public Schools has made to provide services in school and promote social emotional learning with our scholars. Norwalk Public Schools continue to grapple with the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic, and the district's counseling team entered the 22-23 school year focused on fostering well-being and resilience among our scholars by providing schools with SEL programs that fostered an equitable approach to social and emotional learning. Schools helped to institute several CASEL-approved Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, SEL programs, including STEP, Wing Men Initiative, Triangle Community Center, the Devereaux Student Strengths Assessment, SEL Screeners, and EduSolve. These programs are effective tools for supporting the well-being of our students, teachers, schools, and the Norwalk community. During the 22-23 school year, MPS added school counselors to each of the elementary schools, as well as the Future Ready site. Throughout the year, they taught social emotional learning lessons, ran small SEL groups, and supported a whole school community. The addition of these counselors has strengthened the ability to regulate students to be able to access their education more successfully, and in some cases, re-engage them in having them access their education. All these efforts have helped to increase school capacity to address the myriad of complex social and emotional challenges our students are undergoing. In 1949, the U.S. Congress designated the Mental Health Fund to increase awareness of the importance of mental health and wellness in Americans' lives and to celebrate recovery from mental illness. Mental Health Awareness Month helps to raise awareness of trauma and the impact it can have on the physical, emotional, and mental well-being of children, teenagers, adults, families, and communities. By declaring May as Mental Health Awareness Month, the Board of Education offers the message that you are not alone, you are more than enough, and resources are available to help you face your mental health challenges. And that's it. Thank you, Sherry.
Next up is public comments. Do we have anybody on the list for public comments?
Good evening. For your record, please state your name and address.
Yes, my name is Lynn Moore. I reside at 813 Foxborough Drive, Norwalk, Connecticut. The BOE will soon vote on its budget reconciliation. I'm not certain when that will happen. The unions have been excluded from receiving any proposed reconciliation documents. The BOE has the right to vote down the administration's reconciliation recommendations and can request additional time to properly consider what reductions least affect students. It will be your BOE reconciliation document, and that is how the public and school communities will remember it. NPS must not cut counselors. The district is using a formula to reduce counselors. That formula does not work for our Norwalk students. At Norwalk High, it has taken years to gain one additional counselor such that we now have 8 counselors, meaning 200 students to 1 counselor. If counselor positions come before you in the reconciliation document, please be aware that is not my recommendation. The district appears to have decided that teachers with less seniority are going to be the ones to be placed on the hit list, no matter what services they are providing to our student population. A case in point, Norwalk High would lose a non-tenured teacher who teaches honors, advanced placement courses, and is a co-teacher in special education. A second teacher recently hired would then not be able to meet his 250 students, and those students would lose their right to timely be enrolled in required graduation courses. We stand to lose a program that has been in existence for 30+ years, as well as a certain language. We stand to lose department chairs who will do that work. The district has false notions that $800,000 can be saved by eliminating department chairs. I have yet to see any documentation that really makes this notion accurate.
30 more
The
seconds,
budget
Dr.
is
Moore.
not an arithmetic problem. but it is the manner in which the city and our finance department are viewing it. Forget about students, just make it balanced, so we can all go on about our business. Again, the budget reconciliation is one of the most important matters before this BOE. Please implement a reconciliation that responds to the needs of students, which means consider students and not offices. Thank you.
Next on the list, we have Mary Jordan, 9 Mott Ave.
Good evening. Oops, did I do something wrong? Mary Jordan, 9 Mott Avenue, with my members from the Board of Education Union Coalition. Reduction in force is a challenging process in any year. This is the process by which individuals are shifted from role to role, or building to building, or exited from the district employment due to the changing funding, changing enrollment, changing legislation, or other priorities. We follow a painstaking process. It is hard, but it's usually a purposeful process with set priorities that are established by our elected members on the board. One of the worst years in recent past was when we implemented the cuts associated with middle school redesign. We didn't agree it was a good idea, but at least we understood that there was a plan that had some kind of integrity and an awareness at the board level of the upheaval involved. This year has been the most troubling of any reduction in force that I've been involved with as a union leader. 35 members, roughly, of my union will be uprooted from their positions and impacting their colleagues, their school teammates, their students, and all of their network of support. This will include key roles that were just mentioned. Mental health professionals who are very important to our students. The school-based budget decisions have resulted in serious programmatic changes. The cuts involve highly skilled, certified professionals with many years in the district, as well as newer hires. We are eliminating certain programs and key positions without any public discussion or hearing our elected leaders weigh in. In other years, members of the Board of Education kept a watchful eye and refused, for example, to allow the elimination of Latin in the high schools. They fought to maintain quality music instruction, and student-facing roles were preserved carefully as much as possible, and these were during very lean budget years. There are no easy decisions, but a better plan is needed, a plan to provide appropriate conditions of professional practice for the students that we serve. The NFT attempted to save millions.
30 more seconds.
Plan. That fell through. The students need some careful consideration and a better plan. If we wish to repair our reputation in the region as a decent place to work, we need a better plan. I would expect cuts from each department and pain shared all around. We are not seeing that.
It's 3 minutes.
We have attempted to get a better idea of the big picture of these cuts, but there is no partnership, little trust, no discussion, just cuts. Thank you.
Daisy Alicia.
Hello, my name is Daisy Alicea. I work at Kendall College Career Academy, and I am a paraeducator along with my fellow union members here. And I just want to let you know that we love what we do every day. We come to work because we love working with our students. And you probably heard it over and over again, but let me just tell you, you guys have never been in our shoes. We do this every day, and it goes unrecognized every day. But we come to work because, again, like I said, we love doing what we do. And I can guarantee that not one of you have ever done the job that we've done. And it's easy for you guys to sit up here and say, let's get rid of our positions without working in our positions. You guys, it's easy to say you can walk in our shoes for a day, but not really. Try walking in our shoes for a week, try walking in our shoes for a month, and then come back to the table and rethink our positions. And then you guys will have a different thought of what we do. We sit here and we try to teach these kids many things. We get spit at, we get hit, we don't get frustrated at the kids. We embrace them, we encourage them, and we still come back and we continue to teach them. Why? Because we love doing what we love. We love teaching them. Sorry. But again, you guys just sit here and think that we do nothing all day. But we do work with these kids all day. We work with our teachers. We work with our fellow coworkers every day, figuring out what we can do to make the lives of our students easier with limited resources that we have, but that's okay because we make it work for our kids. And again, if you just sit back and think about the positions you have up top and eliminate one position up top, you might save a few of our positions by easily getting rid of what's up top, where all the weight is at. That's all, thank you.
Next on the list is Dan Sullivan.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Dan Sullivan, 32 Wayside Lane, Reading, Connecticut. I've been at Norwalk High School now 27 years, 23 as a school counselor at 11 Norwalk High School. And I want to thank, the district so far, for the service. So we know this is a tough job that you have, and trying to support the mental health and cultivate district and community supports to meet the growing needs of our students and families, like Ms. McCready mentioned, through the Mental Health Awareness Month. So tonight, I'm here to implore you to consider maintaining the school counseling position and ratios in our district. As we know, the school counselors are the heart of the building. They're the students' common denominator throughout their schooling experience, not only for the students, but also for the families and parents. The services run the continuum from post-secondary planning to scheduling, four-year planning, peer issues, conflict resolution, support of staff, referrals, working with community partners, college applications, grades, academic supports, facilitating meetings, shared responsibilities that we have within our buildings for 504, scholarship planning, AP exams, etc., as well as crisis planning. A couple of years ago, we went through a redesign study, which was a 2-year study that involved many of our community stakeholders and partners. So we had Board of Ed members, school counselors, parents, students, school governance council members, and it was a robust study of 2 years looking at data and supports, and they put together a coherent plan, which this is year 2 that we're in. We're really excited about that. So. And momentum that we've gained with that. To take a step backwards now would certainly be deleterious to all parties involved. So we please ask you to consider that for the Norwalk Public Schools. And once again, we thank you for your service.
That was the last name on the list. Is there anyone online?
So there are people online. If you're interested in making any public comments, please raise your hand. Anybody online that's interested in making public comments, please raise your hand.
Anyone else in the room before I move forward that would like to make a public comment that did not have a chance to sign up? Okay, thank you, everyone. I am going to transfer the meeting now to Superintendent Dr. Alexandra Estrella for the superintendent report.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. There are a few items in the agenda, like is customary. We're going to start off with our principal spotlights. We'd like to call Jenna Masone and Cranberry Elementary forward to share some of their best practices.
Good evening, my name is Jenna Masone, I'm proud principal at Cranberry Elementary School, and joining me is Kate Torres, our assistant principal.
Good evening, I'm Kate Shawn Torres, the proud assistant principal of instruction for Cranberry Elementary School.
I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you a little bit about what's happening at Cranberry. If you don't know us, we are tucked away on a 33-acre wooded lot up in the corner of Cranberry. It's a beautiful setting. And because of that, we have taken advantage of the setting for a new construction project, which has been in the works for decades. I know some families have been working for a very long time to make this a reality. So we are just about at the finish line. We hope to open the 2023-2024 school year in our new building. And in a moment, I'll share some video highlights with you about what that looks like. And at our school, we are very proud of a few items. We have a recent focus on environmentalism. So we have established a partnership with the Pollinator Pathway organization. And in that work, we serve as stewards, our students serve as stewards of Oyster Shell Park. So we began a few years ago by planting seeds down there. Students go down and plant them, they harvested them, brought them back to the building and grow them, and then we're headed down next week to replant them. So it truly is an example of the life cycle in action, and our students really get the opportunity to see how they impact not just their own lives, but the community around them. So that's been a very positive development in the last couple of years. We offer a very strong academic program, which is focused on all of our diverse learners. And we also have robust programming, including a full-time gifted and talented program, talent development offering, and a ukulele club, which had their concert the week before last, and we ran out of seats for all of the students that were participating. So it truly is a very positive experience at Cranberry. And what I'm going to share with you now is a 70-year snapshot of the school from its inception to where we are now. So if you could cue that. You will see in the middle of this video the over a year's worth of their construction project in about 15 seconds. So do not blink. And we are told by the construction team that we make it look too easy. Yes. Those were our students at Oyster Shell Park. So what you noticed in the video is all of the students and staff got a chance to sign a beam that was put in place in the actual building, and I am told you can see it from the interior of the stage, the gym area. So it's really been a very comprehensive process for everyone, and the students are very vested. I would like to publicly thank the City of Norwalk, publicly thank the Board of Education and the superintendent for supporting this project. We are really poised for the next stage in Cranberry's history, so we thank you.
It's a beautiful memory for those students that were able to watch.
It is, thank you.
Any questions? Dr. Masson, just one moment, just in case the board has questions. Any questions from the board?
I don't have questions, but being on the facilities committee, it's been amazing having these conversations regarding the new school and actually watching, because we always get the updates and seeing the videos and the pictures and seeing how happy that children were standing on the other side of the fence, being able to see the new school going on. And thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
I'll echo that too. Thank you for educating our kids and providing them with the gift of the love of learning.
Thank you, appreciate that. Thank you.
So thank you. And now without further ado, Sister Nina and the Jefferson Elementary School team.
Before you start, do you think we can come so we could see her?
Oh, yes.
Up front, right here, right in the middle, here.
No, breakfast room.
So we could see, right in the middle, right here. No.
All the way around.
All the way around. So we can see the whole
outfit.
outfit.
Keep coming.
We want you to come through the runway. The runway.
Yes. Oh my God.
I got that for a second. No pressure.
Turn around just a second. We get a great picture of you. Yay! Thank you. It's very fun.
I think it's only fair and appropriate to first introduce Autumn. She's one of our seniors at Jefferson Marine Science Elementary. I also have
Welcome.
Carolina Martino, Jeffrey Beckley, Maria Paris, and Diana Walker. So Carolina Martino is our dual language coordinator. Diana is our STEAM teacher. Maria Paris is our gifted and talented teacher. Dr. Jeffrey Beckley is our math coach. This is my support team along with Mr. Fazani in the back, our assistant principal. We are definitely proud to be here. We're gracious for the opportunity to present us to our schools and the things that we're known for. Jefferson is definitely known for as the only marine science focused school in the state of Connecticut. Our students are very proud of learning about marine science, celebrating their culture, and finding their unique pathways. At Jefferson, every student soars, which means that they are safe, they take ownership of themselves, they're accountable for themselves and others, they respect each other, and they support one another. And at Jefferson, we also have our dual language program. The dual language program allows our students to be biliterate in both English and Spanish.
She's like his lesson. Yes.
Yes, we made it.
No, so it's down.
Next one.
All right, so for our shout out number one is our marine science program, and our marine science program is with our partnership with the Maritime Aquarium, and it's through the lens of STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And what does that really mean when you say lens of STEAM? Well, we have inquiry-based learning and it's student-centered learning, and we utilize the engineering design process when we do our projects at Jefferson. And I just want to say that this year with the new marine science program, we've actually created 17 unique new programs through the Maritime Aquarium where students go to field trips at the Maritime Aquarium and then take data, collect data and information and bring it back to Jefferson, and then they go through the whole engineering design process to complete projects and inventions and prototypes and things like that. We also have technology that we use at Jefferson where we have students learning coding languages like JavaScript and Python through robotics. We build complete circuits through little bits, and we also learn about computer-aided design programs where students actually get to create 3D prints of their prototypes or their models. And we've actually scheduled 60 field trips through the Maritime Aquarium this year alone for grades K to 5. And they're all aligned to the Norwalk Science curriculum. Oh, and then, sorry, these are the pictures. So that's our Maritime Aquarium pictures. And then, is there some more? This is yeah, it's an older slide. We did have some STEAM pictures as well, but you get the idea. Yeah, that's like that. You can, yeah, just stop it. We have a different slideshow, actually. All right, so I'm the gifted and talent teacher as well as the media literacy, and I provide enrichment to the entire school. One of the projects that we did this year, which is why you see stuffed animals over there, is that we adopted 32 different endangered marine species, each section, each department, and curriculum-based materials are being taught throughout the school on that particular species that was adopted. Following next year, they'll each have a big 5-gallon tank. They'll collect change, and at the end of the year, that money will also be distributed to the Wildlife Federation on behalf of the species that was adopted. So this is something that we hope to continue through the years and to create a bigger program. We also started an aquarium visit to the Mystic Aquarium this year for the outgoing 5th grade, because a lot of the animals that Maritime does not have, such as the beluga whale and sea lion, are at Mystic. So that was a great experience. Most of the children had never been there and hadn't seen some of those animals before. In addition to that, we have 2 pictures up there of 2 newcomers who are finalists in the Invention Convention, and we're very proud of them. The other change we're doing is we had 5 groups of students who submitted podcasts to the NPR Podcast Challenge. And we also had a team of kids who were able to submit to the Khalid El-Bhutan Living Oceans Foundation for their Science Borders Without Challenge global art project, where they interpret what is killing a particular endangered marine species, and then they create an artwork. There's no writing, it's just complete art, sculpture, drawing, or painting, and we had a variety of those. So in those ways, my GT plus the school
is provided enrichment, and we try to stick to a marine science-oriented program. And now we will have Carolina.
Okay.
See it? It's not that computer.
So to serve our third shout out is our dual language program. And to serve this vision, we support our multilingual students in becoming English proficient as they continue to gain the necessary skills in reading and writing in both English and Spanish, not only to gain proficiency between the languages, but to see themselves as citizens of the world within themselves.
And Mr. Nina said that he would do a fourth shout out, he would ask for forgiveness later. So we wanted to let Autumn do her reading here for you guys. Here she is.
Hello, my name is Autumn Joseph, and I am a 5th grade student at Jefferson Marine Science Elementary School. This year, 40 other students and I have been working for the last 4 months with Dr. Becky to present our school musical theater production, The Lion King Music. In this show, I play Rafiki as I am just tonight playing a lead role in the show. Have taught me how to be a leader, how to work hard, and trust other students, and how to be a part of it, which are all the skills I plan to use later in life. I hope you can use on June 1st, 2nd, or 3rd to support me and my kids. Thank you.
Any questions from the board?
Yes, I'd like to know how long does it take her to get ready?
So believe it or not, we did the makeup in my office tonight. It took about 90 minutes to put her makeup on, so
Wow.
it took a little while. All right.
Thank you for taking that time. It's really fun to watch. Barry Gibbs.
I don't know if you want to put it on your wall there. Dr. Smith's right there.
We got
middle of the way.
prints of marine science animals for each one of you, so.
Jefferson is another school that I had the privilege to watch, being built and created, you know, and I actually walked through it when there was like nothing, it was just a frame, so.
So everybody gets to.
Yes, everybody gets one, and to see it, you know, up close,
Yeah, it's a beautiful school.
I find that really a nice pairing of Cranberry and your school. Yours, this is your first year in this school, right? I mean, you've been at the site years ago, but they're about to go into a new school, and it really speaks for all the efforts of the system trying to upgrade as much as we can, as quickly as we can. Certainly, we'd like to have every school upgraded, but here we are and enjoying it. I have a few questions for the STEM person. Sounds like a thrilling experience to go through the school. I'm wondering how you were able to get so many field trips in, and did you have people come from Maritime to the school?
Yes, we have, for every science unit for K to 5, we've created those programs. So we have a field experience at the Maritime Aquarium. Some of the units we could do at the school, like we just had a 4th grade project where they did the stream tables, where they were looking at erosion, like beach erosion.
Yes.
And so we were able to bring that to the STEAM lab, which is so nice to have, like with the nice floor we have. It's a brand new STEAM lab. I'm very excited about it, if you can't tell. Yes, and so it depends on what's most beneficial to the students and how we can take that information to the next level and have them use that data that they collect in order to do something with the data. We don't want them just to go there as like any other student that gets to go to the Maritime Aquarium. It's a specialized program just for our students.
It sounds wonderful, and the enthusiasm and the plays and all of that is wonderful to hear and see. Thank you. Thank
I
you.
just need to mention and recognize our maritime partner, Nicole Rosenfeld. She spent countless of hours working with Diana to plan all of the activities, all the field trips, all the lessons. They did parallel planning to our current science curriculum, and she's been a great partner over these years.
That's great to hear. The Maritime is really doing their part.
And that will be strengthened even further because Jefferson alongside West Rock Middle School received a state grant of over $1.3 million to support the continuous development of the marine science focus within the school. That will give them the opportunity to continue to advance the curriculum materials, also bring in other technological tools that will enhance their ability to continue to do the work in the classroom as well as their partnership at the Maritime itself.
That's great.
Any other questions?
Dr. Beckley also wants to make something up.
Sure.
So this year, I was one of the lucky teachers in the state of Connecticut to receive a Fund for Teachers grant, so I'll be heading to Tahiti, Bora Bora, and Moria this summer to study marine science and bring that stuff back to Jefferson.
Great to hear.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys go.
Oh,
the bag? Thank you. Dr. Scott, I have a t-shirt. I know, sorry, I forgot.
So this just highlights some of the amazing things that are happening across the district, and thankfully with the efforts of the operations team and their countless hours in bringing forward additional grants and resources to the district, it will help us further enhance the great things that are happening in our schools, particularly as we continue to expand pathways across the district. We continue to look for funding revenue that will help facilitate those processes. Just a few days ago, we applied for a federal grant that will hopefully, if awarded, help us continue to expand P-TECH, for instance, and those services being offered to our scholars. So we will continue wherever possible to apply for state and federal, as well as philanthropic dollars to continue to enhance programming throughout the scope of our work in the district. I want to provide the board with an update of where we are in the budget process, and I'm just going to ask Mr. Asmani if he can join me for this part of the superintendent report, just providing an update of the work that is happening ongoing throughout the scope of the next few weeks.
Thank you, Superintendent, for the opportunity. Yes, as I shared with the Finance Committee last week, I believe it was, where we are with the budget. We recall the request that we had made at the beginning of the year, at the beginning of the budget process, to address all of our needs. We heard from the mayor's office and the city what was approved, and so what follows is the process of reconciliation. During that process, we had our SBB as part of the regular budget process, where we met with principals and school leaders to work on the budget. If you recall, when we start the budget process, we typically start with kind of with the central support department, build those budgets together. We make some assumptions, and then once the budget is approved by the city, we engage our schools in the student-based component of the budget. With the challenges this year, engaging with the schools, we had to work together to make those reductions. At the same time, unlike prior years, as we were working on the school budgets, we also went back to the central office departments, the central support system, so the curriculum, instruction, all of those services that were supported. We went back and basically restarted the process with that unit. So while the SBB process was ongoing, concurrently, we were also engaging with the central support because a lot of these items intertwine. During the SPP conversations, we also had members of the central support team, the MLL, specialized learning, and all of those teams also are working collaboratively to work with the schools to get to where we are. The plan is right now is we're kind of still pulling the numbers together. As you know, funding is challenging this year. We heard last week that there was $2.5 million that the city had approved from the use of their ARPA grants. That goes to the Common Council a week from today, and so we're hopeful that that is something that we will get, that will also assist in the budget development process. In terms of the calendar, June 13th, at the next business meeting, is when we will be approving the reconciled budget. Between now and then, finance team, the HR team, the schools and central office working to compile the numbers. And over the next couple of days now, once those numbers have been identified, we will begin engaging. We'll continue to share with the board where we are in terms of that conversation. We plan to have a reconciliation at the June 10th conversation of the Finance Committee, so we'll have that initial conversation publicly at that meeting, and then that budget will be brought back again on the 13th of June. And as has been appropriately mentioned here by fellow speakers, it is the Board of Ed that approves the budget just like it does every other year, and we will be bringing to you a recommendation for your review, but also we want to spend some time talking about the process. As you know, this year, unlike any other year, has been extremely challenging with the expiration of the ESSER funds. We are unfortunate in that our ESSER funds expire before most other districts. I'm talking with fellow CFOs from Danbury, from Stanford. Their cliff is coming next year, so they're kind of all, we're the first ones out the gate, and so many more districts will be facing the challenges that we're facing. But that's kind of a brief update on where we are with the budget process. You recall that part of this conversation also, when we engaged with the NFT union contract negotiation last year, there was a clause in that contract to review health insurance, and so we engaged in that process as part of that process. The approach that the board took was we issued an RFP with our healthcare consultant. They're the ones that manage our health insurance. They have the expertise, and so they went out. I believe it was in November or December. Went out. We received 4 bids for the health insurance, and this was the high deductible health insurance plan, which is different from what we have now. So we received those bids. Those bids came in, and we were presented with those bids by our carrier. We shared that information with union leadership. We had information session with some of our union leaders and members to kind of ask questions and just to get additional insight. So we had those conversations. Part of that agreement was that all the unions would have to agree to move forward. When we put this out, 7 of the unions voted not to move forward with this plan. The teachers union did. As part of that process, then that opens up the gate for the Board of Ed to renegotiate with the teachers in terms of where do we go from here, since that did not pass with all of the members. So where we are now, we have had one first meeting with NFT to review, to start the conversation. We have the next meeting on May 31st, I believe, just to continue that conversation. We have 25 initial days to finish the first round of conversation, and then there's another 25 days after that, at which point, if there isn't agreement at that point, then it goes, it goes to mediation. But we're hopeful that between the two sides, we can work together to figure out a solution that's appropriate for the staff and for the district. One of the things that we did find with that particular proposal with a high deductible plan, it does initially save the district money in terms of premiums. We will pay less premiums than we do now with a Connecticut 2.0 plan. That's a fully insured PPO plan. The challenge that we saw, and that was reflected in some of how the union voted, was it disproportionately impact some employees, a group of employees, because their premiums tend to be more given the current funding structure. And so one of the things that the Board of Ed has to wrestle and come to terms with is, how do you balance those two? How do you balance the total cost of the plan where it saves the district money, but it disproportionately impacts other employees in the district, especially those that don't make as much on the higher end, on the lower end of the scales. And so we heard some of those comments when we met with some of the unions. We heard this from food services, from custodians, when we have those conversations. These were some of the concerns that they brought up in this conversation. One of the concerns or conversation we're also having is there a way perhaps to make some of those unions whole? Like, could you change the composition of the plan and maybe provide additional incentive to those employees that are disproportionately impacted? We're still working to see if that's viable. The challenge is that that's a short-term solution. Long-term, it doesn't solve what we're looking for. So you could say in the first year or 2 or 3, but at some point it's going to start catching up. So those are some of the conversations that we're having. Obviously, there are opinions on both sides, but what we hope to do through the course of the next couple of weeks is review the numbers, review the data, present to you scenarios, and then we will see where we go from there. But the contract negotiation stipulated that if the board didn't move with the initial plan, we would reopen the conversations, which is where we are with the teachers union. Yeah, we will get to the health insurance. Happy to answer any questions. There's a lot of meetings, a lot of conversations, a lot of analysis, a lot of attorneys. And so we're exploring all possible options at this point.
Mr. Osman, the 2.5 city ARPA funds, those were for one-time costs, right, Mike?
Yes, so the city had about I believe just about $10 million of ARPA funds that need to be spent need to be committed by October and spent by September of next year. And so in their allocation, we worked closely with the mayor, we went back and forth with the list. Initially, we thought that we could provide some of our contracted services for mental health. That was a challenge because the contracts are between the Board of Ed and not with the city, so the city could not pay on a contract that's not theirs. So instead, they asked us to identify one-time supplies, so we included list curriculum items, we included things like health services, items that the nurses use. I think we had conversations with the high schools about how we pay for the hockey program and some of those things so we could maintain that program. And so we have a list of items that were approved, and they're public. I believe they were shared last week when we met with the Finance and Claims Committee. But these are one time, and so after that money is completed, get access to it. The money will be managed by the city. So essentially what we do is we get the bills, we return them over to the city, and the city will pay.
Since it's one time, we could conceivably be back here again next year, right?
What was that?
I said we could conceivably, since those are just one-time costs, next year going forward, if we are negotiating and have challenges, right? I mean, it could be a similar situation. It's not something that's gonna go on forever.
No, I mean, the delta that we have to make this year is just $18 million. It's been a challenge and will be a challenge, not only this year, but in a couple of years to come as well.
I have a question on, could you unpack a little bit for us how you go about talking with the city and the mayor? I was at a public meeting last night where the mayor mentioned that there was another $4 million somewhere. They just said it at at the DTC meeting, and we didn't have a chance to ask him, besides the 2.5.
I'm aware of the 2.5. I've not been involved with any conversations with any other sums other than that. But these were conversations, if you recall, when when the BT was meeting to approve, to review
Yes.
the budget, this was when the mayor had indicated that he had a plan that he would like to discuss with the Board of Education regarding a potential funding source. And that's how the conversation began. It was initiated by the mayor. Following that conversation, the mayor's team put together a meeting where the administration, finance teams were invited, and that's when we started to have the conversation about this funding source, ARPA funds that they could use, COVID funds that they could use. And so that's how we got into the $2.5 million conversation, was a way for them to help us.
To help us. But, so that, you know, we had the 18 million, so we have, you know, we're still in
Right, so right now we're in the
15.5.
process of reconciling. What was approved is 226.5 million, and that is the budget that has to come before. And so we're working right now to reconcile that $18 million.
And the process, if you could just unpack that a little bit more, it's are we working with the principals and the SGC on this, or we're working?
So the school-based budget traditionally has been a collaboration, not only of just finance and the schools, but it's finance and the schools and all the teams that support the schools.
Yes.
Curriculum team, special instruction team, special education team. So we work together in the process of reconciling budget, and we do the same thing with the central support teams as well. And we do have some further conversations on the agenda to go into further detail of that process tonight as well. Session.
I see. Okay. Okay. So we stay tuned. These next
Yes,
few weeks will
the budget
be
is, the process is ongoing and.
really
we continue
ongoing.
to have conversations. I'm curious to hear if there's another $4 million out there.
In that meeting that, last night, the $4 million, I believe, was on the city side. It had nothing to do with the Norwalk Public Schools, so that there is no confusion there. He was just explaining what they were doing on their end.
Okay, I stand corrected on that.
We would love to have the $4 million. That is not an option at this time.
Any further questions about the agenda item?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Freya, thank you, Linda. So now we're going to the section of action consent votes. This is the section where we can implement more than one vote at the same time. We've had to have some additions to the approval of personnel, which will be posted on public meetings. I need a motion to add these added changes to personnel.
Would you make a motion to add that item?
I see.
There's multiple items. We have resignations, retirements, and some added staff.
So you want me to modify that to say to add multiple items?
Thank you.
I second.
Thank you, Mary Ellen, second by Mary Ellen. With that being said, we will now discuss our new addition to the staff at central office. With step up, we have Gabrielle Parker. Gabrielle Parker is our new human resource director.
Pending today's approval. So, can I speak to this?
Yes.
So, I don't know, I'm just gonna call you Gabby because it's one. So Gabby has been instrumental in supporting the team throughout the past few months as an interim HR director, and really building the team and supporting the team through its transition, as well as supporting our staff and personnel, while also supporting a really challenging process within the next few weeks as we continue to talk about our budget and some of the things that we have to take into consideration. But throughout the scope of the past few weeks, she's been she's been exceptional at the work that she's been doing to support the district at large. So I hope that the board sets the motion to approve her as the new HR director. I would love Lunda as her direct report if he wishes to share a few words.
Thank you. Gabby on board when I got here. So Gabby's been great. As you know, with the recent changes in how we organize ourselves, finance and HR, Gabby and her team have just been great partners. The two departments is essential that we work together well. It's essential that we're on the same page, and it's essential that we're in sync in everything that we do, especially going into the budget process as well as we're doing it. Gabby has been an excellent leader on that team. She has been influential in changing the tone within the department, and just the level of collaboration that exists, not just between finance and HR, but between finance, HR, and all of the other departments. It's been night and day, and so we are extremely excited that Gabby, not only accepted the opportunity to step up in the interim capacity, but in accepting doing this on a permanent basis. Very excited for her, and very excited for the district.
Thank you.
And one thing that I have to echo is the amazing collaboration that's happening between the two departments, which has made the work seamless. Thanks to your leadership, Lunda, but also Gabby's obvious insertion of bringing people together. I also want to give a kudos to Barbara Asmani, who has been working in collaboration with Gabby in bringing the team together.
You meant Namani, right?
What did I say? Namani. They're not married.
Very important to clarify that. Very important to clarify.
Barbara Namani, for being another integral individual in that work as well. So thank you.
Yeah, I have to give testament to being able to appreciate how much Barbara and Gabby have stepped in and stepped up, has challenged, have gotten a little more unique. It's encouraging, when comforting, just that you guys haven't weathered and have been more than stepping up to the plate. So it's been great to see and witness. Thank you.
With all of that being said and all those positive words, I need a motion to approve personnel with additions and also adding Gabrielle Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Raise your hand.
Diana Remole, I am gonna raise my hand and I'll just quickly chime in and say thank you again to Gabby and Barbara for the responsiveness. These guys, Friday nights, all weekend. It's amazing your commitment to the staff and the children. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. We've had some late nights, but thank you. Okay, so the next item is approval of budget transfers. All in favor? I have to say, that was the loudest one. You bring in the joy, the respect of your team. That was amazing. Thank you.
I think it's a full audience where they applauded.
Not even a third.
All right, I'm not gonna put them together because we need to do some changes in the minutes, but anyway, approval of budget transfers. Motion, Mary Ellen?
Yes.
Second. Sherry, all in favor, please raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous.
Aye.
Thank you, Erica. Approval of minutes. I know that there was some changes to be made on the minutes. I didn't know if anybody else were written incorrectly. I know that Janine Randolph's name was not correct. There was some other, I think it was Kara, Janine, Godfrey. I'm not sure if it was just an error in typing, but if we can correct all the board members' names. And then we'll submit to public record. So motion to approve the minutes with only those changes, unless somebody else has any other changes?
No, it's okay.
Motion to approve?
A motion to approve with those corrections.
Thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Godfrey. All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
Approved.
Thank you, Erica. Okay, so now we're going to move into other approvals. Line item approval of the 2023-24 full-service inter-school agreement with Side by Side Charter School. Are there any questions or concerns or discussion on that item?
I just have a question. We're just fulfilling the state requirements
Correct.
here. And so,
You'll see the next three items will be more detailed. I'll have written word to discuss. So this is just a yearly protocol. Any other questions, concerns? Motion to approve. Mary Ellen, seconded by Sherry. All in favor, please say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Thank you.
Approved.
Thank you, Erica. All right, so the next three items, I do have to read. These are through the state. There's special verbiage that I have to read, that we follow protocol. It has to be in record. This is to renew our certification and for grant. So the approval of healthy food auction participation pursuant to 2023-24 healthy food certificate. Pursuant to the CGS section 10-22-215F, the Norwalk Board of Education certifies that all food items offered for sale to students in the schools under its jurisdiction and not exempted from the Connecticut nutrition standards published by the Connecticut State Department of Education will comply with the Connecticut nutrition standards during the period of July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. This certification shall include all food offered for sale to students separately from reimbursable meals at all times and from all sources, including but not limited to school stores, vending machines, school cafeterias, culinary programs, and any fundraising activities on school premises, sponsored by the school or non-school organizations in course. Any question on that first item? So this is, again, another protocol that we have to do for our food services.
And it's tied to the grant, right?
It's tied to a grant, correct. And so motion to approve?
Motion to approve and approve Bridget?
second?
Seconded by Godfrey.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand, say aye.
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 Thank you, Erica. Unanimous. The next one is approval of food exceptions pursuant to 2023-24 healthy food certification. Okay. The Norwalk Board of Education will allow the sale to students of food items that do not meet the Connecticut nutrition standards, provided that the following conditions are met. 1, the sale is in connection with an event occurring after the end of a regular school day or on a weekend. 2, the sale is at the location of the event. And 3, the food items are not sold from a vending machine or school store. An event is an occurrence that involves more than just regularly scheduled practice, meetings, and extracurricular activities. For example, soccer games, school plays, interscholastic debates are events, but soccer practices, play rehearsals, and debate team meetings are not. The regular school day is a period from midnight before to 30 minutes after the end of an official school day. Location means where the event is being held and must be the same place as the food sales. Any questions?
So basically that one and the one that you're gonna read next just have to do with the that is sold at events at the school.
Correct.
Okay.
Football games.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's clear.
Motion to approve. Mary Ellen, seconded by Judy Pritchard. All in favor, please raise your hand, say aye.
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 Thank you, unanimous. The next one is approval of beverages exemptions pursuant to 2023-24 healthy food certification. The Norwalk Board of Education will allow the sale to students of beverages not listed in section 10-221Q of the Connecticut General Statutes, provided that the following conditions are met. 1, the sale is in connection with an event occurring after the end of the regular school day or on a weekend. 2, the sale is at a location of the event. And 3, the beverages are not sold from vending machine or a school store. An event is an occurrence that involves more than just a regularly scheduled practice, meeting, or extracurricular activity. The school day is the period from midnight before to 30 minutes after the end of the official school day. Location means where the event is being held and must be the same place as the beverage sales. Any questions? Motion to approve,
Motion to approve.
Mary Ellen. Seconded by Godfrey Azima. All in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So now we're going to approve our policies, our series. I know that there was a question by one of the board members. Well, it's not actually a question, but if Ralph, if you can speak on that, please.
Sure. Yeah, I think it was a grammatical question, and we actually just sent out the revised version with the corrected grammar in it. So we had the red line version in the packet, so the more as I think are already posted. So.
Thank you.
Sure.
So revision has been posted. It was a typo. So we are voting on these all together. Approval of Series 5000, student transgender, non-binary, gender non-conforming youth regulation. Approval of Series 4000, professional responsibilities policy. Approval of Series 4000, teacher responsibilities policy. Approval of Series 4000, homebound teacher policy. Approval of Series 4000, exchange teaching policy. Approval of Series 4000, appointment and conditions of employment policy. We have met with the policy committee on all of these. So
Yes.
these are basic updates and just, taking, I can't even speak, I'm sorry. Putting them back into our books since we had the Shipman and Goodwin policies.
I would like to say one thing before we, we get going, just it's a distinction on the first one, the non-conforming youth. It's a regulation, which is based on two policies that we already have, the bullying and the Title IX policy. So all the others are policies, but this one is a regulation spelling out what the prior policies intend.
That's a good point, because policy committee does discuss policies and regulations. Motion to approve? Mary Ellen?
I make a motion to approve all of the regulation and policies.
Thank you. Seconded by? Pretty Pritchard. All in favor, please raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Diana, can you just speak very briefly to that these are state recommendations for Series 5000, and that you've also been, I know, Diana, you've put in a lot of due diligence working with the LGBTQ community on our pronoun usage in all of our policy updates?
Yes, we've been meeting with different constituents, students. Actually, our last meeting, we had a group, what was the name of the group, Ralph, that was with us at the last policy meeting?
Oh, the Center for Youth Leadership put those together.
Center for Youth Leadership. So we've been having very detailed conversations on how the policy should read, and I have to speak to Ralph because I know that you had mentioned about pronouns. So I just don't know if we can just change that on all of them at once, or if we have to look at them individually like we have been to change that typo.
You know, I'd have to actually, I don't know.
We'll have to look into that. But in the meantime, we'll keep them as is, but Erica, we are looking at all of that with the community.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so that's all of our action items. Our next item on the agenda is the monthly financial. I don't know if we do that.
Not much to report on the financials. We are 10 months in, and we were at just about 75% of the budget spent, 83% of the year in. So we are on track to end the year where we anticipate we would end by the end of the year. We don't anticipate going for any special appropriation before the year is over, so I believe we will make our budget. We're monitoring our health insurance expenses this year, but everything is trending where we should anticipate it to be. So nothing sticks out, and thanks for approving the transfers.
Thank you. Thank you for all the hours you and your team are putting in. I know it's been very, very difficult for all of you.
Thank you. We'll make it work.
I appreciate that also. Thank you.
I need a motion to adjust the agenda a little bit. So, to adjust the agenda. Thank you. So I am actually going to send the meeting over to Dr. Estrella again for an announcement.
Thank you, Chairperson. There was one item in the superintendent report that I wanted to highlight. So as you know, we have been partners with Verizon Innovation for some time. We have state-of-the-art labs in 3 of our middle schools as a result of it, as well as they help facilitate the one-to-one device structure that we currently have across the district. And we were informed just a few days ago that several of our schools have received a very special award. So I would love Mr. Valencisi to speak quickly on this accomplishment, because it speaks to the time and dedication that our staff has put forward in making sure that we effectively utilize AI within our program, and that we're constantly at the cutting edge of innovation as we continue to enhance and modify learning for students.
Yeah, so, thank you, Dr. Estrella. And just to kind of clarify, like each one of our schools received a certain award. And when we receive these grants from Verizon, there's actually a lot of work that goes into it over a period of years. So it's not just that they give us funds and then we do what we want to do. There's a lot of accountability and reporting that we do on a monthly basis with Verizon, whether it's the devices that they're actually looking at data usage or the instruction that goes on within the classroom. So for all of those different areas, we actually have a portfolio that has to be submitted on an annual basis for the last few years. And the evidence that was portrayed in all of those different portfolios had actually each one of our schools received an award this year. So at West Rocks, they received an award on their transformation plan, which is a portion of their portfolio. And it's looking at instructionally the programs that they put into place that they've documented to help make kids more future ready. So that's talking about things like AI and how we're actually looking at integrating technology in an effective manner. I know in your board report, you'll hear more next week about some podcasts that are now starting to be created at West Rocks. And you can go onto their site and see that they actually they've done, I think, their first two podcasts. One talks about a comparison between Android and Apple iOS, and the other one talks a little bit more about the idea of artificial intelligence and stuff, and it's student generated. So they received an award for what they call a transformation plan. Ponus Ridge has received an award around sustainability, and one of the things that was really highlighted in their portfolio is the work that they've done around digital citizenship, making sure that devices are actually taken care of and that they're managed in a way that really makes sense. And that's kudos to not only the coach, but to really the whole team at Ponus on how they've been able to implement that. So they've received an award as well. And then at Nathan Hale, our specific coach, actually received an award. So if you don't know Malcolm Welfare, he's our digital coach there. And his award that he received was focused around equity as a mindset. So he's really been spending a tremendous deal of time, and I know we've been working with Dr. McBride and a lot of our students in general around a focus around equity, but digital equity, making sure that in conjunction with what's going on with their equity initiatives, that they're also focusing on making sure that technology is actually there's an access for all students in our schools. So really, that's just kind of a brief overview. Kudos to all of those programs on being able to do this. And it's work like that I think actually led them to also awarding us with these innovation labs and so forth. So, it's been really a highlight of the work that I've been doing with those schools over the last couple of years. And it's incredible to see how much of a change you're seeing and how technology is being used there. So they deserve a lot of credit.
That is really exciting.
And I thought it was important to highlight. I think teams are doing quite phenomenal work.
It's amazing all the positive and all the phenomenal work that's going on in the district. I just hope that, the public gets to see all of this and hear about this. So I know the communications team is working very hard in getting the word out, so thank you.
AI is the word.
Why fight it? We're gonna have to, eventually people will have to embrace it. So we're trying to embrace it in a productive way across the district.
Okay, so now we're to section committee representative reports. I know that we have a few members that are out. There's something going around, not even with the board, but also in the community. I know there's a lot of sick people, so I'm hoping people are, starting to feel better. But if there's any committee representative that wants to speak up, say something about what's been going on.
I would like to mention that I'm a representative to the CES, and that's in Trumbull, the regional consortium, more or less, of educators and schools. And last week, it was mentioned that we could go visit a place that's called Workspace, which the Trumbull and a Northern Connecticut group purchased this beautiful property, and it's like a maker place that you can you could send the kids to do projects, or adults could go for retreats of some sort of creating projects on the retreat. So I had a chance to go up and see that, and it's about an hour away, and it's quite a place, and I don't know if we could ever use it, but it's something to look at. I'll be sending some pictures around. It's called Workspace, and it's partially funded by the state.
Thank you, Mary Ellen.
I don't really have much to add. We had a finance committee meeting that Mr. Anzalone pretty much covered. So there's no need, we're waiting to find out about the 2.5, and hopefully it'll be in our favor.
Dr. Strait will be doing sports services today.
I will, in support of Erica, number of things. So Brian McMahon, girls lacrosse, have demonstrated a lot of success this year. Last year they had 4 wins. This year they already have 7. Wait, give me 1 second. So last year they had 4 wins. This year they have 7 through 11 games. So they're off to a very good start this year. Boys lacrosse, like the girls lacrosse team, boys were able to have a more competitive 3X record. They've gone 3rd, 4th, and 5th ranked team. They competed with 4th, 5th, and 5th ranked teams in the state, and are on the schedule to continue to compete. So they're off to a very good start with Norwalk High School. A lot of success also with baseball, softball, and lacrosse, respectively, as well. So our athletes are putting off a very good game, and we're really excited to see how they finish off the season.
Mm-hmm. Sounds great.
It's great to hear. Not only are our students very artistic, the athletics is amazing here too. Okay. So now we have board member announcements. This is the section where the board members can be a little bit more personal with the public, and if there's any announcements they'd like to make, this is the time to share a little bit about yourself or an event. I guess I'll start.
Go ahead.
So I was at the mental health walk for the city. I was there with Norwalk Mutual Aid, which I'm on the board of. It was great meeting families and students. I have to say that there was a group of 8 students that came to the booth to talk to me and to see about volunteer hours. And the funny thing is, I didn't know who they were, but then I saw the P-TECH logo on their shirt. And I went, you all P-TECH students? And when I tell you that they screamed and yelled, yay, P-TECH, I started laughing. And then I said to them, I go, I'm a proud P-TECH mom too, right? And then they screamed even harder. So it was great to see how happy they were and how involved with the community they want to be, and it gives me faith in the future with our students that they want to be a part and help the community. I even spoke to them about moving forward once they graduate, because they were talking about volunteering, that they could actually do bigger things in Norwalk, scholarships for P-TECH students, any type of group community projects that they can do. So it was really great to see that. It was great to see and talk to people, because there's still a lot of families that have food insecurities, that are still out of work, So whatever we can do as a group, as a community to help neighbors helping neighbors, that was a big plus. And I'm actually looking forward to first book on Saturday, because that's going to be huge. Last year was huge, so I'm
Yes.
sure this year will be bigger. So get your roller
Just hope it
skates
doesn't
on.
rain.
Get your roller skates on, members. I hope to see you all there to help give out those books.
What I will say is talk about the wonderful performances that the schools have been doing. And we went to see Newsies. These kids.
It's like
we had-
Broadway.
I'm telling you,
Yes.
it's like Broadway. These kids were dancing and singing and jumping. I was like looking, I thought I was looking at a promo for a Broadway show.
Yes.
I mean, amazing. Absolutely.
And Brian McMahon's
I mean, it was
also
and
wonderful.
kudos to the
Saw both of
staff
them.
who is choreographing that and directing and producing. It was absolutely amazing.
I was talking actually to Dr. Estrella that I would love to have like a hallway, a Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Because I would love to see where some of these kids end up, right? And some of them do come back and they're already famous, but to have a hallway where these students, every time they go to rehearsal or to practice, they can see the famous faces on the wall with a little blurb. It's just creating that idea of, where they can be someday. And
Right.
to come back and see the students.
You know, they have one at Brian McMahon. They have a wall of fame.
Yep, Norwalk High does not, but the new school hopefully will.
Maybe,
So
maybe
let's get that
so.
up there.
I would just like to add
What are Ms. Favors?
about the P-TECH. I attended, along with some other board members, the dinner for the P-TECH graduates. There were 18 graduates, and it was really wonderful to meet the parents and to see so many of them have completed NCC degree before they even get their high school diploma. So they'll be going to college with all the first year and possibly second year taken care of. So that was very exciting. I talked to a lot of parents that were just beside themselves. They couldn't believe how hard their children worked. And it was a great experience. Yeah. Also to mention, ArtSpace has opened up to our Norwalk students, really providing free art lessons, and it's really found a place in Norwalk, centrally located, and excellent work there. So it's good stuff.
Okay. And our last item of the evening is going to be discussion of confidential attorney-client communication concerning board authority to implement staff reductions. So we will be going into executive session. I need a motion.
Make a motion to go into executive session.
So
I had to jump out and call for executive session, we need quorum, and so we will need to have one of the members also join.
Yes.
Session.
Colin should be here.
She's on her way.
Oh.
But Colin too should be here. Okay, thank you.
Interpreters, we can close out, you guys can close out for the night. We'll just, I think we will be fine without it, so thank you very much for joining.
We're live.
Okay, good evening. We are back from executive session. It was a long night. Thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure. Motion to adjourn, please?
Motion.
Oh, and before I forget, Erica De Palma was with us in executive session, so we did have a quorum. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Mary Ellen? All in
Second.
favor? Aye, thank you.